The power of serving others. We see it all the time. We see our friends doing it. They all together, when you add them, is the power of joy. Everlasting joy. Don't ever forget that. Even in the moment of despair, even while we were talking, I should have been sad, but I also feel joy because I'm meeting you for the first time. Hating earthquake, early morning, I was supposed to go downstairs to put wood in the oven. I fell down on my shoulder. 24 hours after, I had my mother also in the earthquake, fell down and had his shoulder. I wanted to go home. I wanted to go home to get my father at that time. And Yulia, she said that, well, if you go help your father, maybe you can have children over there. I was sad because it's about my father, but when she said children, I feel happy and joyful. Within 24 hours, she designed something where she can use the power of the plants and the power of everything. So I can carry less thing as possible in my backpack and carry as many thousand as possible, more thousand people. It's unbelievable. Within 48 hours, I was on the airplane. I reached over there. In 3 days, she raises 10,000 and also $10,000 worth of products. In 3 days, it was over. I called her. I said, I have nothing. Within 48 hours, she was on the airplane, bringing all those things together. The power of joy, the power of serving, days and days, we see little kids coming. We can't fall asleep because we keep going with the power of joy, the power of serving.
Okay, so this is about plants saving lives. So what I often see in America is that, dandelion is good for the liver, but plants are also actually good for saving lives. And when he arrived in Haiti, the scent of death flesh was still in the air, and there were all these terrible aftershocks, so we were still exposed to the earthquake. And you can see here how the multi-story buildings had just crashed down like pancakes, squishing everybody who was in them. And the devastation was tremendous. We could barely pass in the streets. And most people were displaced in makeshift tent camps like these, where many people still are now. And you can get an idea of the mud there on the ground. Sanitary conditions were and are still terrible. We started a mobile clinic that used a jeep to go to different locations, including this is Pétionville Ghetto, and what you can see here is it's actually built on a landfill. So the landfill was stamped down to be the new ground, and then the ghetto is on top. So you can imagine, the sanitary situation. Here you can see the water washing the ravine and showing us that it's actually a garbage dump. So we would go there and offer free clinic with only natural remedies to the poorest of the poor. There was no clean water, no electricity, which still there is not. And Haiti is one of the poorest countries in the world. So the very basic thing for health, which is 3 meals a day and clean water, does not exist for most people. The most common disease we see is severe, long-standing malnutrition. And here, this is the local market. You get an idea again of the sanitary conditions, so all infectious diseases are hitting the ceiling. So we just accept whatever is donated to us, fill the suitcases and go. Here, some of you remember Sandy. Yes, so Sandy, this is Linda, you remember, this is Cynthia. And so this is us unpacking and setting up with all the different donated things, and we use plant medicines in all forms. We use herbs, essential oils, homeopathy, and flower essences. Amongst those, what is actually working best is homeopathy and essential oils because they're small and compact and can go a long way. So they're easy to fill a suitcase. Here just some more of the pictures of us setting up the clinic. And the clinic basically, because it is mobile, had a very simple formula. The formula is 1 table plus 2 chairs equals 1 clinic. So, and we just had extremely makeshift conditions. So here's in one of the schools, just various donated essential oils in alphabetical order, and we made blends very low, so we give people very small doses of everything, not because we want to be stingy, but because we have to treat hundreds of people. So all blends are less than 1% for those of you who are interested. And for instance, one of the things that we use tons of to date is a blend of tea tree and lavender essential oils in vegetable oil, whatever is the cheapest we can buy in the market, for all kinds of infections. The biggest infections are skin infections and vaginal infections of all kinds, which all women have from baby age to death. So, and we had very, very good results. We see about 300 people a day. Oh yeah, one of our preparators, he quickly became nicknamed Monsieur Titri Lavon, because we'd always call out tea tree lavender, you know, prepare us that. So yeah, we see about 300 people a day, which breaks down to 150 patients you see as a practitioner there a day. And we go, and these are some more of the waiting lines. We had to give out numbers. We almost got stampeded several times. We treat also schools and orphanages. You can see here in the face, you know, the kind of the shock, the suffering, the hunger. And one of the reasons how we can treat so many people effectively in a short time, and I was very, very persistent in the first days. I kept on saying, what are the results? Are people coming back? Does it work? You know, I didn't want to be like a red clock cross. Somebody comes in, they treat them, they never see them again. So I was very happy to get overwhelming good results back. And one of the reasons why we could work so fast is because we were trained in pulse taking, Chinese pulse, which also cuts through language barriers or gives you a very quick assessment of the situation, and we were also using pulse testing of remedies. So it's also very useful. Here I'm actually taking a baby pulse, so it's very useful if you are working with a population that is 50% children under 18 to know how to take the pulse on a baby. This is a little boy with yellow fever. He was 2 months of age, diagnosed at the hospital and sent home to die because the mother, who was a teenager, didn't have money to have him treated. So we gave him a high dose of homeopathic aconite, which is monk's hood, which immediately brought down the fever along with a few other things, and he did. And that was good. One of the most touching cases in the clinic because he actually came back. When he came back and he was bigger,
we thought, well, he should go see Jimpa because, black guy speaks Creole, seems to match. And he started crying. He refused to be touched by Jimpa, and he ran over to Michelle. He wanted the white woman. So that really made us all cry because we realized that somewhere deep down in this little 2-month-old feverish heart, he remembered that we saved his life, and it wasn't a black guy, it was a white woman. So, and he was actually so not shy. Here you can see he's even allowing Michelle to stick needles into him, and he's even playing with the needles. So, total trust. I can trust these girls, And this is him again a little bit later playing with sunflower essence sprays. We see an overwhelming amount of children at the clinic. And this is another case, so we do try to follow up. We come back to the same neighborhoods to not only see people one time, but to follow up. This girl was buried under the rubble after the earthquake for 3 days until they managed to dig her out. And at the time she was 3 years old. And you can still see that the shock is still written in her face. At that time, she wouldn't stop talking about it. She kept on saying, "Daddy, do you remember when I was under the rubble?" So we also treated her for shock and PTSD, and that helped her a lot. We unfortunately don't see her very often because this happened a lot after the earthquake. It did not just break houses, but also families. The families, parents divorced, and they don't manage to organize themselves to bring her in every time they're there. We also work with the local healers, so this is a local bone setter, Nelia, doing pre-stretches before doing the adjustments. And this is her husband, the late Oliana de Riviera, who was what's called Dr. Feu, so a leaf doctor, so he was an herbalist, bone setter, and midwife. This is a young man who was brought in with a fresh severe concussion, eyes flipped up and everything. He had just in an accident outside the clinic fallen off a motorbike. And this is Oliana setting his neck joints. He received a treatment of high-dose homeopathic arnica for concussion and internal bleeding, and he was admitted. Then after 3 years we were joined by Michelle, who's sitting right there, as our clinic acupuncturist, and she earned us the nickname the Miracle Doctors because she studied in China in a special form of acupuncture that relieves pain on the spot. So here she is needling people all over, and she also figured out quite quickly that in the Haitian climate you cannot needle the ears because you already are in such a tropical climate and everybody already has what's called symptoms of heat rising, so high blood pressure, heart palpitations, migraine headaches, and things like that. So she figured out very quickly to work with points on the foot instead to pull the heat and the energy down. I don't know whether you saw that this lady's also needled. So yeah, we have lots of children come to the clinic. We are insisting, which is not usual for the culture, to always be kind, gentle, and respectful. And when usually people are rather rough, we go to the orphanages. This is an orphanage where, for instance, every time we go, this is Michelle handing out homeopathic wormwood. We give wormwood tea if we know there's a parent who will actually make a tea, homeopathic wormwood to street children, where we just know we have one chance only to pop something in their mouth and that's it. So we deworm the entire ghetto or school or orphanage or whatever it is. This is a special case. Sorry, I just want to say, so again, plants saving lives, what we use a lot for heat rising symptoms, which includes high blood pressure turning into strokes. We use high-dose homeopathic belladonna, which is again a plant, and literally people who fall over almost dead with a stroke, they're brought in, we give that to them, and within an hour they get up and walk home. So So plants do save lives, and this is the case.
I think that's the case I'm supposed to talk about. When I see Jeff and Melanie, there's something that came to my mind, because 2 years ago, they donated nettles. So then something came to my mind. I have to tell the story about the power of nettles. So I'm just going to go quickly before saying that, just talking about nettles a little bit. So I was in the clinic years ago, because that's the power of the plant. The plant talks to us sometimes. We must learn how to listen. I have a gentleman walking into the clinic. When he walked in, he said, "Doctor," I said, "What is it?" "I love herbs. I want just tea. You see all those things? I just came here to get some tea." And I said, "Yeah, what is the symptom?" He told me that I'm tired, I'm always falling asleep, I can't walk, I feel dizzy, I'm having nightmares, I just need some tea. I said, "Really?" I said, "Well, let me take your pulse." "Doctor, I need some tea." After that, I said, "You know what? Let me just get up." I just look at all the bag of tea that we have, and I say, "Well, let me just think that what he wants," and I give him nettle, because I said, "Oh, maybe he's weak." So I give him 3 tablespoons of nettle, because it's really important for us, especially for pregnant women who use that a lot. Then the next week we came, and the men just pushing everybody away, because you have to get ticket to get in. They said, "When you get in, I need the doctor. I'm not sick, but I want to see the doctor." And he came and said, "Doctor, doctor." I said, "What is it?" I said, I'm not dizzy, and I'm happy. This is the power of letters. I bypass everything, I listen. When I go there, the plant say, "Use me for that man." That's all I heard, nothing else. This is the power of letters. And now I'm going to talk about what I should talk about. Which one? This is the power of cannula. Is that lady? Because in Haiti, when they sell some food, they use gas. Right? And she said this one just pop for some reason and burn all the skin and hands. So when she came to me, she didn't have money to go to the doctor, and I just look at her face, and I used to cannula tincture, and also I used the leaves also to put in the skin. And then the week after she came, she said that every water is your sucker, and then the wounds start to heal. This is the power of the plants, and we use it every day. And the beauty of it, when you use the power of the plant, the healer, you heal, and the healing process happens, and you feel nothing but joy out of it.
Okay, so these are just a few more photos. So also since we've been there, we've had numerous epidemics. So the UN soldiers from Nepal brought cholera to the Caribbean, including Haiti, and we never had people with lab tests. So we just have to go the traditional way by looking at the discharges for diagnosis and treatment. So we've had cases of rice water-like stools and stuff like that at the clinic. We've treated cholera preventively and curatively with essential oils such as lemons, ranking high on the list, eucalyptus, etc. And we gave people these essential oils to add into their drinking water. It dropped for a barrel for the whole family. Swirl it around as good as they can to disinfect the water, and all the areas that we operated in did not have cholera. So even tiny amounts of aromatic molecules can be incredibly powerful. This photo is from the chikungunya epidemic, and at that time, bone set was the great remedy for the incredible aching and stiff pain in the joints. However, young children, babies like this one, and old people actually would collapse pretty much on the spot, and we had hundreds of people in the waiting line, so we couldn't see them fast enough. So what we decided to do is to give them in a bottle of water, again, 1 drop, half lavender and lemon essential oil shaken up to drink, and that maintained them. It's good enough. I mean, it's a very powerful antiviral, supporting the nerves and stuff, so they wouldn't collapse until they were seen and be given the bone set. And at the very last day, when every single last bit of medicine was gone, Jim got chikungunya, and he couldn't get treated until he was back in New York City. So friends waited with the remedies at the airport. And then since then we've had the Zika epidemic, and the last really horrible thing that happened after the hurricane, whatever had been restored in terms of clean water was gone again, horrible dirty water, no electricity at all, political chaos for 1.5 years now, hospitals are on strike since December, and in all of that, on top of that, Chinese contraband plastic rice showed up, and people were getting plastic intoxication from eating rice made out of plastic, chicken made out of plastic, and noodles made out of, rice noodles made out of plastic. So the life-saving thing here was that getting completely constipated from this was we were simply giving them tiny amounts, because at that point we had very, very difficulties to get the next shipment over there, tiny amounts of carminatives, which that was enough to help them pass through and literally unplug them and get over it. So because of all the misery, and although we couldn't go because of the political violence, it was too dangerous, we decided to now make the clinic permanent. It is now open 3 days a week in 2 locations, run by Camille and Marie Lucie, who started as our crowd control women, to not get stampeded. We needed people at the gates and, pushing people back, who are by now really well trained and doing amazing, saving many lives. And so we've been supporting and training them via WhatsApp. So like just last week we had a question say like, gosh, we have a man here, he has priapism, he's about to have a fit, what do we do? And I just asked him. Sure enough, the root cause is sickle cell anemia, so we told him what to do to treat sickle cell anemia to stop the attack. And all kinds of things, meningitis, all these really horrible, also dangerous conditions they're treating, they love it. We have them on board because they love the service. They're not in it for profit, and we had to fire a lot of people from staff who didn't get that. And so we're supporting them via WhatsApp, and we also made YouTube training videos for them, which has worked really well. So YouTube for modern technology.
Yeah.
So just to say a last thing that we have today treated 40,000 people for free.
Oh my God.
And I would like to end by saying that we're called a grassroots clinic, and I would like to change the image, because this is just a very small portion of our donors. We just try to pick people who would be here in the audience and related to the international. In reality, we've had hundreds of people contribute in so many ways, so I think we should be called a tree root clinic, because it's been like a gigantic tree with thousands and thousands of rootlets in all directions, taking all these things that are given, bringing them together and channel them across to Haiti in a big, strong trunk, where they branch out and become leaves and fruit, reaching thousands of leaves and fruits, which are the beneficiary people over there. So on that note, just to remember that the people there are also very grateful for us coming, and they do recognize that plants save lives if we only let them, and we see that at the clinic every day.